specifically around accounts payable, what's the biggest challenge, I guess, in terms of businesses adopting this kind of technology? It's not like document management technology hasn't been around for a while now. There's still lots of businesses that are starting to adopt this technology. What do you think has been the biggest challenge and drawback for those people that have yet to adopt it?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that customers are generally not aware of. They don't think, and they're not really listening to the messages that are being put in front of them. So if you've got an ERP system, so a Sage or a Xero or maybe an SAP type product, you're in that department and you're focused on going through those processes, and they're not necessarily thinking how can they improve efficiency in the other part of the accounts payable process. So the approvals process, the coding process, the ability to get data from an invoice document into their ERP system. So they're not even really aware of that those things are possible, I think is really the essence.
Yeah. Do you think? I guess, do you think what's partly driving that is I guess a culture of this is what we've always done. This is how things have always been,
Yeah.
and therefore there isn't a consideration of, well, how can this be improved? Is there even opportunity to make this more efficient? Do you think it's culture that's driving that, or do you think it's something else?
I think it's culture. I mean, for me, I think there's two things that seem to drive whether a business is going to look at change and improvements, or they're going to continue doing what they're doing. One is, or the main one is, the desire of the finance director or the finance manager, whether they're an innovative sort of person and whether they will look at it, and then the constraints put on them by their ERP system. Because often when you start a conversation, the customer's perception is that you want to rip out the ERP system they're using and give them something new. And invariably, they don't want to do that because they're quite happy using Sage or Xero or whatever. And so trying to get the message across that actually what you're doing is providing an add-on to that that's going to give them all these other benefits. And that's really quite a tricky balance to get that message across in a clean way that they pick up and they can see for themselves.
Yeah, so it's something that's going to increase their efficiency by adding on to what they already have, their current tech stack, rather than it being, right, we're going to kibosh everything you've got here and we're going to start fresh with this system, which
Correct.
I guess would naturally, when anyone would be concerned about that, because there's going to be a lot of time internally as the customer, and also the cost probably with the partner to work in implementing that new technology. Then there's the time training people. So all this, I guess, becomes factored in as to, do we want to do this?